The Van Lake Monster. After erecting a large 4-meter-tall statue located near the Van Lake, it became apparent to critics and skeptics that this urban legend, despite any number of claims against its legitimacy, was here to stay. This was, of course, that of the Lake Van Monster. Back in 1889, on the 29th of April, the Ottoman newspaper Saadet published an article that claimed an older man had been dragged down into the lake by a large sea creature described similar to that as a serpent with wings. These reports seemed to align perfectly with that of ancient Armenian mythologies that told of large sea creatures described as serpents with wings inhabiting the lake. Since this was originally reported back in 1889, there's been a large number of sightings of sea creatures in the lake that have contributed to the modern-day myths of the Van Lake Monster. Back in the 1990s, there appeared to be a series of sightings of the creature made by the local Kurdish population during small fishing trips or leisurely trips out onto the body of water. This eventually led to the recovered footage made by a local man known as Unal Kozak that claimed to have captured footage of the creature back in 1997. His footage was sent to video analysis experts that claimed that the footage was not edited in any way, though they have not been able to rule out the use of practical effects. Today, the urban legend seems to be responsible for the prime source of income to the region, as people from all over the world have journeyed to the lake in the hopes of spotting the strange winged serpents for themselves. The Seven-Headed Dragon. According to accounts of old Italian folklore, there appears to be a number of strange reports that tell of a creature that has the ability to live forever, untouched by age, and proves to be a menace to the province of Bergamo. This creature is known only as the Seven-Headed Dragon and seems to bear startling resemblance to that of the creature of the Hydra. Interestingly enough, according to legend, the dragon was known to wander the countryside in search of livestock to devour, completely ravaging towns and draining a well of its entire supply of water during one sitting. This led to a number of farmers and hunters gathering together to fight the beast, only to fail miserably, leading to a number of the population perishing in the fight. Due to this immediate danger, a collection of small states of Italy, fearing that the creature might eventually find its way to their own provinces, gathered together a small army that was comprised of the reported best soldiers of all of Italy. These soldiers tracked down and hunted the creature, battling it for days as it could, eventually pushing the monster back into a nearby wellspring. Upon entering the water, the creature thrashed and fought, unable to take any damage of any kind, leading to the creature accidentally burying itself underneath the mud of the wellspring as its movements caused it to slowly sink in. Tales of this story are still told in the modern day and has led to a number of Italians believing that the muddy water and area in which the dragon was trapped is that of the Fonte Drago, the name of a wellspring that translates to the wellspring of the dragon. A particularly muddy wellspring that has caused many to sink in and drown in a form of muddy quicksand. To this day, many believe that this immortal dragon rests underneath these waters, waiting for the day of its return, as its own immortality allows it to endure its entrapment for endless millennia. The sightings of the changelings. The legend of the changeling goes back to the old German mythologies of the area that tell of a strange creature swapping out sleeping babies with its own. In several accounts of the changelings, the creature is merely referred to as that of a devil, and that it will go to the cribs of sleeping babies only to take them away and swap them with another baby that will originally look identical to the stolen baby, but will only live for 6 years or will transform into a monster. Some stories detail this devil as appearing to be a large humanoid figure, but covered from head to toe in thick furs that make the creature resemble that of a hairy giant. This is further confirmed in other accounts of the changelings that speak of the babies transforming into large and hairy monsters after being cared for and nursed by a family unaware of their baby having been swapped for a monster. What these strange devils do with the stolen babies are not entirely known, as many ancient German mythologies provide conflicting information as to what becomes of the stolen babies. In some stories, the lives of the stolen babies are referred to as that of the Nixies. The Nixies were believed to be strange monsters that lived at the bottom of the Saar River and that from time to time these creatures would emerge from the waters and go to buy fish from the Saalfeld city market. They were described as having large eyes and hemmed skirts that were always dripping wet. The Nixies were rumoured to be the children that had been taken away and replaced by changelings, but nothing was known for certain surrounding these strange creatures or the fate of the stolen babies. The Zozo Demon. One of the most terrifying stories of a haunting coming from a demonic entity is that of the story of the Zozo Demon and the countless number of people it has targeted in the past. According to reports made by people all across the internet, posting on blog forums, Reddit, and a number of open forum sites, it became apparent to many that the name of the Zozo Demon kept popping up all around the world. The first known popular blog post concerning this demonic entity was written back in 2009 and was made by a man named Darren Evans, of whom referred to the dark entity as the Ouija board demon. He gave the entity this name due to the fact that he first made contact with the Zozo Demon when using a Ouija board that he had become obsessed with in his spare time. For those that don't know, a Ouija board is one of the most popular played cursed games in the world. What is interesting about this game is that it is actually commonly used in seances and by psychics that wish to get in contact with entities trapped in the spirit world. In fact, there are whole dedicated communities that exist online that will help you get a board that will work best for you, as well as provide the rules and etiquette of how to play the game without disturbing any malevolent spirits. According to Darren, however, these proper rules weren't followed during the summoning of the Zozo Demon. After the planchette of the board began spelling out Zozo over again, Darren asked the spirit what its purpose was, to which it replied, to bring you and your family to paradise. When he asked what paradise is, the demon slowly spelled out, hell. Shortly after this, Darren wrote that no matter what he did, where he moved, and what he tried to do, the demon tortured him for years after this event, even going as far as causing his 1-year-old daughter to become violently ill. Though many have often claimed that Darren Evans made up the whole event, a whole community has formed around the Zozo Demon, as many others have stepped forward claiming they have encountered the demon when playing with the Ouija board, as well as uncovering a number of ancient writings describing a demon referred to as Zozo responsible for a number of terrorizing incidents in the past. Today, there are still reports of people being tormented by the entity all around the world. The Fryeburg Shrieker. Referred to as the Fryeburg Shrieker, a strange encounter with a subterranean creature has left many wondering if the possible sighting is related to that of other creatures and an impending disaster. The creature was spotted by more than 21 different individuals, of whom worked as miners at an old mine located in the town of Fryeburg, Germany. On the 10th of September back in 1978, these miners were going about their day as a normal working day. They were the first group of miners to enter the mine every morning and work their shifts until late that evening, a schedule that was rather routine by this point in time. Though they would work these mines every single day and had worked this very same mine only the day prior, there would be a strange creature inhabiting the area near the entrance of the tunnel that they would all claim to have seen. The creature was described as being a tall, dark figure with large wings on its back, standing at the entrance to the mine. After all the miners stared at the creature for a while, frightened by its appearance, the creature opened up its wings and let out a piercing sound. Some described the sound as being similar to that of a sound like 50 people screaming, whereas others claimed it more closely resembled the sound generated by a train in peril trying to brake at the sight of a twisted rail. The creature then went deeper inside the mine and could not be seen by the miners. After this encounter, the workers decided that they would delay mining for a few more hours by working on outside jobs before entering the mine, as they were attempting to calm themselves while trying to figure out what had just occurred. As they were working, a loud explosion occurred within the mine itself, causing a collapse of certain chambers and closing off areas of the mine that would later be excavated to continue work. This has led many to believe that the creature could have been that of the Mothman given the description of the creature, and that its actions were to prevent a tragedy from occurring by saving the lives of the miners. Despite this, the majority of the workers would go on to suffer from self-proclaimed mental issues, recurring nightmares, and visions. Additionally, 6 of the miners would eventually be found dead in their sleep, having perished suddenly with no real explanation.